3 people are dead, including a child. Team coverage live in Sandy as we learn more about the shooting on this street.
Plus, more concern about the Salt Lake County recorder after he's recorded having trouble answering basic questions.
I don't have words to explain.
His chief deputy tells us what's happening in the office and whether she believes he should be making his 6-figure salary.
The heat is just getting started this week. How long it sticks around next.
And why a Utah baseball team is getting national attention for all the wrong reasons.
I heard gunshots like crazy, so I thought it was like a gunfight.
A horrible day in northern Utah. 5 people shot, 3 dead in a quiet Sandy neighborhood, and the victims include children.
We have team coverage tonight. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher has spoken to witnesses all evening.
And Fox 13's Kristen Nunez just spoke to police and has the latest on this developing story. Kirsten.
Yeah, Bob and Hope, still a very active scene here, and police have been here all afternoon. Let's give you a look behind. Now, you can see a handful of officers right there. Where the shooting happened is just a little bit below them on the hill. There's 2 cars down there where they believe this whole scene unfolded, and right now they're trying to piece together why this happened.
This is very, very fluid scene. A lot of witnesses, and it's under investigation.
A tragic scene unraveling on a quiet road in Sandy. It was just after 3:30 Monday afternoon when police got the call of a domestic disturbance in the neighborhood.
During the 911 call, somehow or another, the call was actually terminated or disconnected.
When police got here, 5 people were shot. A man who police identified as the shooter, a woman, and a boy were dead at the scene. And 2 other children were flown to the hospital, a boy in critical condition and a girl in stable condition. Now police are trying to piece together what happened and why. Here's what we know so far. Police say a woman, who they call a Good Samaritan, was driving this car. She stopped to pick up another woman and 2 children, making for a total of 2 women and 3 children in the car. Then the suspect, who was behind the wheel of this truck, rammed the SUV, bringing it to a stop. That's when
suspect exited his vehicle and began shooting.
Police say the woman driver was not shot, but the other woman and 3 children were. At this time, police don't know if the shooter turned the gun on himself.
The investigation is going to be ongoing. As you can tell, it's going to take a long time to sort through this. There's several victims. There's a lot of information that we have to process and a lot of people that we still have to interview.
And a lot of unanswered questions here at this time. Police don't know how all of these people are related, and they're not releasing any names. They tell me they're still working on notifying family. Now we have been told the latest update. As for the boy that was flown to the hospital in critical condition, he is now stable, but that's the latest information we've had. Police say it's likely we won't get another update until sometime tomorrow morning. Live in Sandy, Kirsten Nunez, Fox 13 News, Utah.
All right, Kirsten, thank you.
Neighbors and school children walking home heard those gunshots. Classes at nearby Brookwood Elementary had just gotten out for the day.
Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher continues our team coverage. She spoke with the people who live in the area and saw the aftermath. Lauren.
Yeah, Bob and Hope. So tonight a makeshift memorial was set up by neighbors who tell me that this is normally a quiet area. So when they heard those gunshots followed by sirens, they knew it was serious. Neighbors watch on.
I'm scared to what's going on.
Wondering what happened that led this scene, I don't know what's happening, to unfold.
Then I heard gunshots like crazy, so I thought it was like a gunfight.
No.
My son was yelling into the phone, "Mom, there's been a shooting, there's been a shooting."
Frightened and scared.
He was pretty panicked about, the shots being fired. He knew our son was walking home from school. And
nearby Brookwood Elementary had just gotten out, kids walking home for the day.
We could have had kids walking up this hill, kids getting off of buses during all of this.
And when I turned around the corner to get to my house, I heard the gunshots.
Young Anthony was just down the street. Elementary school has its place. Ridge Workman had just gotten off the bus.
I just felt fear and I was terrified and just didn't know what to do.
Brookwood went on lockdown for an hour. The school says parents helped kids shelter in place in nearby homes, while others watched the scene.
I could see the car and there were 2 bodies next to it underneath white sheets.
Knowing what happened here,
the neighborhood is about to get very close.
Will impact more than just the families involved.
It's scary and it's devastating.
And it's scary that somebody could get that upset about something and feel like this would be the right thing to do, or that this would ever be the thing to do. So it's scary.
Now, I did head over to Brookwood Elementary School tonight and found families and students crying and hugging. The school district could not confirm if the children involved went to that school, but they did say that they had grief counselors on hand tonight and will again for the last day of school tomorrow to help families cope. Live in Sandy, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Stay with Fox 13 News as we continue to cover this sad and tragic story. We'll update you as needed through this newscast, and you can always get the latest anytime at fox13now.com.
New at 9, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a small plane to crash in Tooele County this afternoon. Happened about 4:30 in Erda. We're told a 41-year-old student pilot was flying at the time but wasn't hurt. The Cessna he was in, though, is totaled. An investigation into this crash is ongoing.
Efforts to reduce homeless issues in downtown Salt Lake City seem to be causing problems between city and county leaders. Salt Lake County Mayor Ben McAdams, District Attorney Sim Gill, and Sheriff Jim Winder held a news conference this morning asking for $4 million in state funding to set up treatment and recovery programs. They think that's the best approach to the homeless problem.
The system is overwhelmed, and it's taken many years of building up to get us here, and it's going to take us some time to address it.
The conditions downtown are unacceptable, and the public deserves more.
Sheriff Winder says they have the support of other entities, but he criticized Salt Lake City and police for fighting change. That led to a stiff rebuke from Salt Lake City's mayor and police chief.
Yes, I am frustrated when our partners criticize our efforts and in the process criticize the city employees. I am very grateful to them and the work that they are doing.
What we are doing is working. The efforts we make each and every day are affecting real change in people's lives.
The county says it will be focusing on moving homeless families into housing, drug treatment, and the court system. The city says it already invests millions of dollars in helping the homeless and plans to install security cameras along 5th West.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Kristen with a look at your forecast. And today was hot, not as hot as it was over the weekend, but we still topped out in the mid-90s, 94-hour high. Normally we're at 79 degrees for a high, the record 97. So we were close to record warmth today, and this heat is sticking around. Look at where we are right now. We're still in the low 80s. Skies are mainly clear. North winds coming in at 9, and we'll continue to see a breeze out of the north and occasionally out of the west at times at about 10 to 15 tonight. We'll stay mainly clear. Overnight lows in the mid-50s for Logan, right around 70 for Salt Lake City. So very mild tonight as we head down into southern Utah, 70 in St. George, and into the mid-50s for Cedar City, and all of us staying on the mild side for temperatures tonight. But the heat gets cranked back up again tomorrow. Snow melt continues, and the rivers continue to run high and fast, and so flood warning still in effect for the Logan River. That goes until Thursday afternoon. So tomorrow morning and then again Thursday morning is when we could see it reach peak flow, and that will be right at flood stage. Flood watch is in effect also for the Weber River, and that goes until Friday evening, and that will be for structures along the river from Smith Morehouse Reservoir to the Rockport Reservoir. So we're watching that closely as well. In the meantime, it gets even hotter around here. I'll let you know how long it sticks around because we have a big change in the weather pattern coming too. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Concerns continue to mount about Salt Lake County Recorder Gary Ott. Many on the Salt Lake County Council are worried about his health and whether he can do the job he was elected to do. Fox 13's Dora Scheidel joins us live in studio tonight. Dora.
Hope, Gary Ott has spent a lot of time dodging interviews, but a Deseret News reporter approached him recently and recorded the conversation. His answers to simple questions like, where do you live, seem to indicate Ott's mental capacity is diminishing. Take a listen.
The thing is if you come into my place I can take 2 or 3 of these things on, and we do the job, and then we get back together. I mean, it's
Right.
just, it's a thing, and it's just simple.
It's clear Gary Ott is not making a lot of sense.
I don't have words to explain.
Ott's chief deputy, Julie Dole, says she listened to the radio interview.
Are you concerned about him? Yeah, I'm concerned about him, but whenever I ask how he's doing, he says, I'm doing fine.
When it comes to his health, Dole says Ott's a private man, but when it comes to work around the office...
Is it fair to say that you're doing a majority of Gary's work these days?
Well, it is fair to say, but it's also the way Gary's run his office since he was elected. He's always had his chief deputy recorder run the office.
Even if Ott has always been a hands-off boss, Dole admits he's less involved than he used to be.
It's been a while. It's probably been last year sometimes.
But he's still making a 6-figure salary, $189,000 a year to be exact, according to public records.
Do you believe that he should still be getting paid to do this job?
Yeah, that's, well, like I said, that's a hard question that I think that's up to the electorate.
Dole says she's talked to Ott about people's concerns and if he should step down.
He just says, no, I'm not ready to retire. I'm not. I still feel like I have something to offer.
And in terms of forcing him out of office, Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill says there aren't many options.
You can only remove an elected official for high crimes or misdemeanors or malfeasance. And malfeasance has been legally defined as something with, evil.
Ott's term goes till 2020, and Dole has expressed interest in running for that position. Reporting live in studio, I'm Dora Scheidel, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A push to get more money in the classroom is moving forward.
Utah's children are the greatest thing that we have. They're our future. They're the future of this state.
Coming up at 9:30, how much the proposal would cost you.
Another attack in Europe causing panic, this time in Paris. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And what happened at this Walmart store has a Utah mom in big trouble. Why she's now charged with child abuse.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13 News at 9.
Another terror attack today, this time in Paris, and it's got some in Europe weighing new counterterrorism measures.
There are even proposals to roll back some human rights laws. Fox's Caroline Shively has more.
French officials are holding top-level meetings on whether to extend their state of emergency status after another attack in the heart of Paris. Hundreds of tourists were locked down inside Notre Dame in Paris Tuesday afternoon after a man wielding a hammer and shouting, "This is for Syria," attacked a police officer outside the cathedral.
I was right at the door, the entrance, and we heard people rushing through the door, trying to get in, and the police behind them.
Outside, police were yelling for the hundreds of people in the cathedral square to run. An officer shot and injured the suspect after the man wounded a fellow officer with a hammer.
We've gone from a sophisticated terrorism to a terrorism where any type of tool can be used to attack people.
The 3 attackers in London on Saturday also went low-tech, using a van and knives before they were killed. The 3rd suspect was identified today, 22-year-old Youssef Zagba, a Moroccan-Italian. British Prime Minister Theresa May says she wants to restrict the freedoms of terror suspects.
If our human rights laws stop us from doing it, we'll change the laws so we can do it.
The attack in France comes on the first day of the U.S. and allies' push to take back the city of Raqqa, Syria from ISIS. U.S. officials warn during this push, expect an uptick in the number of terror attacks in Europe and elsewhere. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
New at 9, the Salt Lake County Council is considering pitching in on preserving the Bonanza Flats. Today, in a heated debate, the County Council discussed whether they would chip in $1.5 million in taxpayer money to preserve this 1,350 acres of open space. The area is accessible through Big Cottonwood Canyon. The money would help prevent development here. Democrats on the council are for pitching in, while Republicans, they're against it.
It's a great initiative, but it shouldn't be funded with taxpayer dollars. I mean, we have so many other things in Salt Lake County that needs these funds to complete. You know, we've got different parks, and we've got the Bonneville Shoreline Trail.
The $1.5 million would come out of the county's track fund, which is tourism dollars. A final vote is set for June 20th.
A Utah mother is facing criminal charges after allegedly pulling her 7-year-old son's teeth with a pair of pliers. 47-year-old Janine Isom is charged with 1 count of child abuse. Court documents indicate she took her son to a Walmart in Cedar Hills, bought hand sanitizer and needle-nose pliers, took him into the bathroom, and pulled his 2 front teeth. The mother told police she did it because the teeth were infected.
The child was later taken to the doctor, to the dentist, and determined that there was no sign of any infection whatsoever.
Police say they've dealt with Isom before and that she has a history of mental illness. She is expected to face a judge next month. Police in southern Utah say a man was trying to avoid a dog in the street when he crashed into a Questar payment box this morning. It happened just before 10 near 4th North Industrial Park Road. Police tell the St. George News damage to the box is estimated at about $1,000. The car sustained heavy damage from some concrete posts, but no one in the car was hurt.
The Ogden Raptors minor league baseball team is drawing sharp criticism for a promotion released over the weekend. Hourglass Appreciation Night refers to the shape of some women's bodies. The promotion in part read, quote, "Since an 8 looks like an hourglass, what better way to remind the world that baseball needs no clock than to feature 18 hourglass-shaped commentators."
It just continues the cycle of girls and young women feeling they're not good enough and they have to change something about themselves to be of worth to others.
In a statement, the team wrote, quote, "The Ogden Raptors regret that an unauthorized press release was disseminated over the weekend, and the team in no way supports or condones the objectification of women."
The Utah Division of Natural Resources hopes this video will serve as a warning for other boaters this summer. That's a pickup truck underwater at Yuba State Park. A 16-year-old had the truck on the boat ramp, but the truck didn't have enough brake fluid and rolled into the water. Another truck pulled the truck out with a cable. Nobody was hurt.
Yikes. I had a friend in college forgot to put the emergency brake up.
Yeah.
Same thing, into the lake.
Yeah, kind of have that sinking feeling when that happens.
I've driven away from a gas pump and pulled the...
Oh,
and now they have it. Now they have the kind that just, they come out and they just click back in.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
thankfully.
Yeah. I've been close to doing that too. Good thing, right?
I've done it twice, I'm not going to lie.
Twice?
Twice.
Holy
The
cow.
first time the gas went.
Well, thank goodness then. Hey, so it was another hot day today. Take a look at the highs, and we're not just talking plain hot now. We are talking temperatures 10 to 20 degrees above normal. So this is way above normal for us. 94 in Salt Lake City, 88 in Heber. Down in southern Utah, temperatures in the triple digits in St. George, 102 there, 90 in Cedar City, Hanksville 97, Moab in the upper 90s too. So it was warm all the way around, and it's still very warm out there. In fact, right now temperatures are still above what they should be for our normal highs for this time of the day. So low 80s from Logan to Ogden to Salt Lake, Provo at 80, Delta at 73, Bryce Canyon, you get up enough in elevation, of course it does get a little cooler for you. We're in the mid 60s there. Meanwhile, Moab still at 82. Overnight lows tonight for the Wasatch Front, most of us down into the middle and upper 60s. Salt Lake City right around 70 degrees. Skies mainly clear. West winds at about 10 to 15, so a light breeze there. But those temperatures are going to warm back up again very quickly tomorrow. So here's a look at your activity planner. We'll be in the low 70s at 7 a.m., but by 10 a.m. we're jumping all the way up into the mid 80s. Lots of sunshine. Air quality too going to moderate levels, and so it could be an issue for those sensitive to it. 92 degrees at 1 p.m. and then a 95 in the afternoon, with most of the afternoon spent in the mid 90s with eventual highs right around 97 tomorrow for Salt Lake City. So it's going to be a warm one. As far as any thunderstorms go, to cool things down, to bring in the cloud cover, not a whole lot happening. We had a few showers pop up along the Uintas today. Those have fizzled out. All the action is going to stay to the east. High pressure building in. There is a low just off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, so out over the Gulf of Alaska. This low pressure system is going to move inland. It's going to take its time getting here, but when it does, it's going to bring in a big drop in temperature temperatures. So that is ahead for us, but for now, we're going to be dealing with this big ridge bringing in the heat. So the heat continues to build in. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow, and then it stays hot through Thursday. Highs in the mid to upper 90s for most of northern Utah. So this is Wednesday and Thursday. By the time Thursday afternoon hits, this system will be right over Oregon and Washington, and that pushes into northern Utah, and that's going to crank the winds across southern Utah. So winds start to pick up, the heat doesn't go away, fire danger is going up for southern Utah. By the time we get into the weekend, the cooler air is moving in, temperatures are dropping, and we have a better chance for storms, but the fire danger is going to persist down south. We already have fire weather watches in effect Thursday through Sunday, windy, dry, and hot. You can see the areas outlined here that are under that fire weather watch. We'll be watching that really closely. So a big heads up, that's going to be the case as we head towards the end of the week and into the weekend. Highs tomorrow, again, going up. 97 in Salt Lake City, 94 in Provo, southern Utah, 100 down towards Bullfrog, and 100 degrees in St. George. Here's your southern Utah forecast. 102 tomorrow, 100 Thursday, windy Thursday through at least Sunday, but temperatures do come down back to the upper 80s on Sunday. We can see relative humidities down into the single digits by the end of next week. And then northern Utah in the 90s for highs, 97 Wednesday, Thursday, but the weekend we're back to the 70s Saturday, 60s Sunday and Monday. So maybe not the best news for any outdoor plans because we'll have to watch out for a few thunderstorms in the mountains, but I think we'll all be ready for a little cool down. It's kind of hot. It's not supposed to be this hot this time of the year. So.
All right, Kristen, thank you.
An Orem man wakes up to a big surprise in his bedroom, and it wasn't good.
And a traffic stop gone bad. Body camera shows the dangerous moments for one police officer. We'll show you more after the break.
Reports suggest President Trump could be losing a key member of his cabinet.
According to the New York Times, Attorney General Jeff Sessions has offered to resign in recent weeks. Two people briefed on the discussion say Sessions is frustrated. He doesn't have the freedom to do his job. The White House declined to say whether the president still has confidence in his Attorney General.
Dash camera video shows a Volusia County, Florida Sheriff's deputy being dragged by a car during a traffic stop. Actually, this is body camera video. The deputy stopped the car for speeding, then realized the driver had 2 warrants. Driver took off, dragging the deputy about 10 feet before he was able to break free. The deputy was bleeding but continued to follow the suspect, who was caught about 90 minutes later. The deputy is expected to be okay.
The accuser at the center of Bill Cosby's sexual assault case took the stand today. Andrea Constand claims the 79-year-old comedian and actor drugged and sexually assaulted her at his home in Philadelphia in 2004. During the testimony, Constand claims Cosby gave her pills, and shortly after, she felt incapacitated. More than 60 women have accused Cosby of sexual assault. The trial is expected to last a couple of weeks.
Reuniting a heartbroken family with the body of their loved one.
I don't know if we'll ever be able to offer true closure.
Coming up, how rescue crews finally got to the body of a fallen hiker.
And a proposed tax hike would funnel more money into Utah classrooms, but it won't come cheap. How it'll affect your wallet.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13 News at 9.
Welcome back. After working for more than a day, search and rescue crews managed to recover the body of a fallen hiker this morning.
Ciauci Brown fell into Bell Canyon Creek Sunday night. Fox 13's Tamra Vaifanua reports on the heroic efforts to bring some closure to his family.
It's been an exhausting and challenging 48 hours for the family of Ciauci Brown. The 22-year-old was hiking with friends Sunday night when he fell into the lower falls of Bell Canyon. He never resurfaced. Salt Lake County search and rescue crews found his body Monday morning, but couldn't recover him because of raging waters. Tuesday morning, crews headed back out to the canyon around 6 to safely recover the body of Brown, but overnight conditions didn't improve.
I know they got up there this morning and they were a little discouraged by the water levels and the water flow. But with that in mind, they still had a job to do. They knew it and got right to work.
30 to 40 search and rescue members battled dangerous waters. They say it was one of the toughest and most technical recoveries they've experienced.
They were actually at the point where they were going to take a break. The search and rescue supervisor was going to pull all of his members out of the water because of the cold, let them recover for a little bit, maybe exchange some members out.
By 9:15 a.m., their efforts paid off. Brown was flown by helicopter to a nearby church where he was reunited with his family. They expressed their love and appreciation to the dedicated search and rescue members who risked their lives to locate and retrieve their brother. And now they'll lean on each other as they mourn Brown's death.
We don't want to say that this recovery, just because this stage is over, it's not closure. This is a 22-year-old man. A very sad situation, tragic situation. I don't know if we'll ever be able to offer true closure.
In Sandy, Tamara Vaifanua, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A Salt Lake City police officer is facing criminal charges for kidnapping and assault. According to court documents, 25-year-old Matthew Robert Collins put his estranged wife in a chokehold, handcuffed her, then left her in her apartment for at least an hour. Collins told authorities he did it because she said she was suicidal. We're told he's been put on administrative leave while an outside agency investigates.
A man suspected of several thefts in Draper is now in police custody. Draper police say Brandon Clyde was arrested in Medford, Oregon for similar crimes. Investigators believe he's responsible for several burglaries in Draper and South Jordan. Clyde was found with a gun believed to be stolen here in Utah. Draper police hope to extradite Clyde back to Utah to face charges.
An Orem man woke up to an unpleasant surprise when he found his neighbor naked in his bedroom. It happened near 14th South and 60 West yesterday morning. Police say the victim woke up about 5:30 and went to the bathroom to get ready. They say when he looked into his bedroom, he saw his neighbor naked. When the victim asked what he was doing, his neighbor took off from the house.
He told us it was my neighbor. I have no idea why he was in here. I'd left my screen door unlocked, tried to get some air in here because it was kind of hot, and that's what he woke up to. Kind of surprising.
Police say they found 43-year-old Seth May at his home. He was booked into jail on burglary and criminal mischief charges. Police believed he was under the influence of illegal narcotics, and they took him to the hospital.
A southern Utah man will spend several months in jail for voyeurism and child pornography charges. A St. George judge sentenced 24-year-old Nathaniel Tamplin to 7 months in jail today. The St. George News reports he's accused of having child pornography and recording video of 2 women getting out of their showers. Tamplin will also spend 3 years on supervised probation.
Do you support more money for education, and would you be willing to pay more in taxes for it? Backers of the Our Schools Now initiative hope so. Today they started the process to get a major tax hike on next year's ballot. Fox 13's Ben Winslow has the story.
Our Schools Now supporters submitted the paperwork to get the proposed tax hike on next year's ballot.
We would like to submit to you the Teacher and Student Success Initiative application. We intend to gather over 100,000 signatures.
The ballot initiative would raise about $700 million for education. It's got some big names behind it, including Utah Jazz owner Gail Miller and Zions Bank CEO Scott Anderson.
This is, I believe, Utah's current economic challenge.
Supporters say the money is necessary to help children in the classroom and raise teacher wages.
Our Schools Now is an essential first step toward assuring a permanent long-term funding solution for education in Utah.
But opponents, including members of the state legislature and tax watchdog groups, say you're going to pay for it.
When you talk about taking money out of your pocketbook and taking money away from paying rent and paying for groceries and all of these things that families have to do, then that becomes more real.
Lawmakers say they are spending more on education and test scores are up.
When I look at value and look at where Utah performs based on our Utah education and what we're spending on education, we have an outstanding value.
Let's do some math. Here's what you would pay if Our Schools Now were to pass. If you make between $50,000 and $70,000, you can expect to pay about $100 in extra sales tax and as much as $300 in extra income tax. If you make between $70,000 and $110,000, your taxes go up anywhere from $550 to $638 a year. The median tax hike would be about $416.
You know what? We are asking a lot, but you know why? Because our children, Utah's children, are the greatest thing that we have. They're our future. They're the future of this state.
Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The issue of medical marijuana continues to be a constant on Utah's Capitol Hill. How state lawmakers plan to handle the future of medical cannabis in the Beehive State. And one of the biggest gatherings in Salt Lake City is ready to kick off another season when you can visit the downtown farmers market coming up.
Ooh, can't wait to get there. Hey, it was another hot one today, and it's only going to get hotter over the next couple of days. We topped out at 94 today in Salt Lake City. Tomorrow, we're going to go for the upper 90s, and we're still in the low 80s right now. So get ready for a mild one tonight. Temperatures quickly warming tomorrow, and the air quality is going to go down again tomorrow. We're going to be looking at unhealthy levels for those sensitive for Salt Lake City, for Salt Lake County, I should say, and also for Utah County. I'm tracking that and a big shift in the weather pattern. Your full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
You're watching Fox 13 News. Let's connect.
This weekend marks the first downtown farmers market of the season in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake County leaders kicked off the 26th annual farmers market this afternoon. It runs every Saturday at Pioneer Park, and it features more than 250 vendors. Organizers say they're proud that most vendors grow their produce right here in Salt Lake County. They're also bringing back the Market Kids program.
It's an opportunity for you to bring your kids to the market, for them to see, feel, and touch and learn about fresh fruits and vegetables. And then after they learn about them, they'll be given an opportunity to go do an activity.
The market also offers a variety of handmade goods and brings nearly 10,000 people every week.
Governor Gary Herbert is hoping everyone will do more to help Utah's hungry. He visited the Utah Food Bank in Salt Lake this morning and helped sort food going to pantries throughout the state. Today marked the beginning of the Utah Food Bank's Summer Business Food and Fund Drive.
It's up to all of us to help and contribute, so we encourage people, go out there, get a little money, get a little food, give it to Utah Food Bank, and we'll take care of those who are in need.
Governor Herbert hopes businesses and organizations start their own food drives to help collect donations for the food bank.
Rare stolen property that police hope to return to its rightful owners. We're going to show you the goods coming up.
The Cavaliers rallied back from a 2-0 deficit to win the NBA Finals last year. Can they do it again? And Fox 13's Rebecca Cade in the carrot suit for tonight's vegetable race at the Bees game. Down she goes. Stories coming up in sports.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13 News at 9.
State lawmakers are moving forward with plans to study the future of medical marijuana in Utah. The state's Cannabinoid Review Board held a meeting at the state capitol this morning to set some ground rules. Members of the board plan to review existing research in order to come up with a recommendation for the legislature. Medical marijuana advocates are worried the state won't go far enough to help patients.
Right now, I have mixed feelings. While I want and appreciate the desire for physicians to have some kind of criteria to recommend to patients, I'm very concerned at the limitations the bill that we just passed has.
The board wants to evaluate all outcomes of medical marijuana use, including negative and positive results. When Nevada starts allowing recreational marijuana, it's going to come with a hefty tax. The Nevada Independent newspaper reports the Nevada legislature adjourned last night, putting a 10% tax on recreational marijuana sales. There will also be some tweaks to medical marijuana laws. As Fox 13 News reported earlier this week, West Wendover and Mesquite are both contemplating allowing recreational marijuana sales there, which could draw Utahns to those border towns.
Former Vice President Joe Biden will be in Utah later this week to headline a summit hosted by Mitt Romney. Insiders say Romney will interview the longtime Democrat during Friday's event for donors and business leaders. A spokesperson for Biden said he's attending because he, quote, believes in bipartisanship. He recently launched a political action committee, and that move has some speculating Biden may be eyeing a presidential run in 2020. Sears is planning to close. Even more stores in 2 Utah locations will be affected. The Sears location in St. George and the Kmart in Spanish Fork will both shut down later this year. In total, 72 stores will close across the country. According to Business Insider, most of the affected locations will shut down in September.
Crews are making progress against a wildfire in southern Utah. They tell us the Causeway fire is now about 50% contained. It has burned more than 90 acres about 10 miles northwest of Blanding. Firefighters want the public to stay away from that area. So far, no buildings are threatened.
There are 3 new Utah properties listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Rainbow Bridge National Monument in San Juan County qualifies because it's a religious site for 6 Native American tribes in the area. The Thomas Clark and Millie Callister House served as the main office of the Millard County Telegraph and Telephone Company for 15 years. And the J.M. Wilbur Company Blacksmith Shop provided essential services in developing the Eden community in Weber County. Salt Lake City police are putting some valuable stolen goods on display.
They hope someone will recognize them. Fox 13's Aubrey McKay reports.
It's quite the display. Coins, comic books, and thousands of cards.
They may not even know it's missing.
Some of the collectibles are rather unique.
Superhero cards, along with an interesting group of serial criminals cards.
Others more popular are clearly valuable.
We don't know what the value is in this, but there is some value, and some of it may be sentimental. Some of it may be actual financial value.
Detective Greg Wilkin collects some of these items himself and knows it takes work. Salt Lake City police say about a year ago they recovered this bin of collectibles that they believe was stolen. So far, they haven't been able to connect it to a victim or suspect of a case.
But there's an awful lot of stuff that is just property that gets turned into us. And it's surprising how people don't contact us.
Police want to find the owner of this collection, but also want to make the public aware that keeping a record of their things, writing down serial numbers, and reporting stolen items is always a good idea.
Having photos of it is actually the best thing that you can do.
Salt Lake City police are showing the public some of the items that they recovered, but there's still some in the big black box. Whoever can tell them what it is, they'll know they're the rightful owner.
If we don't have somebody come forward and claim it, we'll probably end up in an auction type situation.
In Salt Lake City, Aubrey McKay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Employees at a Logan business thought they stumbled onto a break-in last week until they found out who the real culprits were. A worker showed up at Alpine Home Medical last Tuesday after a long Memorial Day weekend and found a broken back window. They called police, but once the officers arrived, they were surprised to find 2 ducks quacking and wandering around the office. The birds somehow survived the broken window, but sure made a mess.
You enjoyed a great weekend down south, did you not?
Sure did. Got down to southern Utah. You know, it was so hot up here. It was very hot down that way too, but the one spot that did seem to be just perfect was Bryce Canyon. I had to show this picture from the trip down that way, and because you get up so high, temperatures were actually in the 70s up there in the afternoon, so I thought it was a pretty nice little getaway, and of course the picture never does it justice. Take a look at the temperatures out there right now, and look at this. We're at 64 in Bryce Canyon. Meanwhile, still in the mid-90s in St. George. We're still in the low 80s here in Salt Lake City, so quite the contrast in temperatures there. Low 80s up in Ogden and Logan. The heat is just building in too. So tomorrow and Thursday, hottest temperatures that we've seen so far this week. So it's going to continue to build in. That means lots of sunshine. The air is pretty stagnant too. Air quality concerns, especially for Utah County and for Salt Lake County as we head through tomorrow. And then as we get towards the weekend, cooler air moves into the Pacific Northwest, and this whole system is going to move in for the weekend to bring storm chances. A dramatic drop in temperatures, but is also going to crank up the wind, especially in southern Utah. So we are going to have to watch out for fire danger starting Thursday. Planning your day for tomorrow, we'll wake up 9 a.m. If you wake up late, temperatures are already going to be approaching 80 degrees. So get up early if you want to beat the heat. By the time the lunch hour hits, we're in the upper 80s, approaching 90 degrees, so warming up really quickly tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, temperatures in the mid to upper 90s for most of us along the Wasatch Front and in northern Utah. And of Of course, because of all the heat, rivers are continuing to run very fast and high. Flood warnings continue for the Logan River until Thursday afternoon. We have a flood warning there. Highest levels will likely be tomorrow morning and then first thing again Thursday morning. And then we have flood watches in effect for the Weber River as well. And that goes until Saturday. Southern Utah, you can see these areas highlighted here. Thursday through Sunday, winds increase, southwest winds 20 to 40 miles an hour. Very dry, very hot. That means fire danger is going to be going up very quickly there. Highs tomorrow in the 90s for Salt Lake City. Triple-digit heat for St. George. Triple-digit heat down towards Bullfrog too. So it's going to be a hot one. The winds again holding off though until Thursday. So your 7-day forecast for southern Utah will be in the 90s over the weekend. A little cooler by Monday. Northern Utah, we'll see a big climb in the temperatures tomorrow and Thursday, but we're back to the 70s Saturday and then 60s on Sunday and Monday. A big cool down around the corner.
Well, I'll tell you, the Cavs have got to be really happy to be going home to Cleveland.
Yeah, not a great 2 days or 2 games in Oakland, that's for sure.
No.
Warriors won the first 2 games in Oakland pretty handily, just like they did in the NBA Finals last year. But the Cavaliers rallied back to win Game 3 last year, and they went on to win 4 of the final 5 games to win the title. Can the Cavs do that again, or at least to make this series competitive? We'll find out tomorrow in Game 3.
You know, we got some things that we need to do better, obviously, from Game 1 and Game 2 to get to Game 3 tomorrow. And we look forward to the challenge once again. We know it's a tall challenge for us, but, you know, it's a great moment to be a part of.
We have a huge hurdle to get over tomorrow. Game 3 has been rough for us, historically and especially in this building. So we need to really just lock in and give every effort we have on tomorrow and how hard this 48 minutes is going to be to really seize control of the series.
You got to love the produce race at Bees games. Sometimes it's the corn that falls or the carrot and the apple go down. Last night it was the banana that tripped over the pitcher's mound in the bullpen right there. The corn, though, came back to help with some CPR. Fox 13's Rebecca Cade was in the race tonight as the carrot.
It's the curse of the bullpen. Time after time, a produce item trips and falls.
In those costumes, it's impossible to see that bullpen, and when you're running, your feet just clip it and you go down.
So I thought I'd put the bullpen to the test. First, I got advice from Salt Lake Bees players.
Don't blow it out too early. Pace yourself, and then hurdle it at the end.
Either to avoid the bullpen at all costs or to keep your eyes on. Run slow.
Second, I learned how fans were scouted out.
I kind of like to look for people that are more athletic, that look like they'll be more spontaneous, more, you know, into the game.
Then it was time to suit up.
How in the world do you see out of this?
A little pushing, a little shoving, but mostly some heavy running. And yet the curse of the bullpen runs true. But I did still come in third against some pretty heavy competition.
Carrot, right?
From Smith's Ballpark, Rebecca Cade, Fox 13 Sports.
Oh. I love that she did that.
Yeah.
Carrot
The
goes
Bees
down.
won the game on a walk-off homer from Jeffrey Martin.
Yeah, but nobody cares
Clearly,
about
Rebecca
that.
was the star of the show.
Wow.
Did she scrape her knee at all?
She's got scrapes on her knee, on the back of her leg. She's got the
war wounds to prove it.
She showed everybody. So.
All right,
Great
Jeff.
job, Rebecca.
Yeah, way to go, Rebecca. Proud of you.
Be right back.
This is Fox 13 News.
Finally on Fox 13, a group of men in Washington State won't be able to spend time with their own fathers this Father's Day, so they've turned to the internet for help. They made a Craigslist posting looking for a generic dad to grill burgers, talk about Jimmy Buffett, and teach the men how to build a deck.
My husband's at Jimmy Buffett tonight.
Yeah, down in San Diego.
And to build a deck.
Yeah, I bet you Craig could do that too. Candidates need to be 18 years experience, have 18 years of experience as a father, plus 10 years manning a grill.
It's important.
That's right. Chosen dads will be paid in food and drink.
You would be better off with my husband because he's an amazing griller.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he's young enough to.
Do you need any yard work done? Let's hire some dads.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a bad
idea. We could come get
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Well, maybe we could just hire you.
Yeah, I know how to do that.
Or all of his
You're
kids.
pretty good with it. Yeah.
Careful.
Quick cast up next.